sounds good. Got off screen.
Check. 1 2 1 2.
Got that up.
They can hear you through my mic.
What's that?
So they could probably hear Q through my mic.
Well, yeah, he is that loud. Alrighty. Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And on Skype.
Yeah, Bloodaxe.
All right. Actually, let him introduce himself this time.
I know, right?
All right. Oh man, there was a lot with the new Game Awards. Game Awards not so exciting. Some of the things that were announced during the Game Awards was exciting. Before we get to that, though, let's go ahead and cover some of these other topics we've got, which I think is where are my other topics? Didn't we have other topics? I'm pretty sure we had other topics.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question.
All my other topics disappeared.
I know one of them I think was the Sony.
There was the Sony, yeah.
Let's see. Crap, man.
Here it is. The Sony bands. The Diablo 4. There we go. And then there was the GTA 6.
Oh yeah. But almost nothing on the comic book side. It's been a radio silence. Like, I just was thinking, like, did they do anything in movies? Yeah, because it's not really a full topic to talk about. Kind of the leaks with the Deadpool leaks. That's kind of minor.
Yeah. I mean, dude. It's gaming week. It's gonna be gaming week. I mean, with the Game Awards.
Yeah, movies and comics got nothing, man. Yeah. We also chat about how much we watched Twisted Metal. We only got a few episodes left of that.
Oh yeah, that ended up actually being really good. Have you checked out Twisted Metal, Bloodaxe?
What streaming service is it on?
It's on Peacock. I just happen to have a subscription through Comcast, and so I was like, oh, there was a couple of things on there I wanted to check out. You know, the new Quantum Leap. It's been out for a couple of years now, so I was like, yeah, I wanted to check that out. The Fresh Prince reboot, which is more of a drama now, just for nostalgia's sake, I wanted to check out. But the big one was Twisted Metal, and so me and Q, our normal anime watching crew, one of them bailed on us, so we decided to watch Twisted Metal, and no, I actually enjoyed it. It was actually fun to watch. Did you play the games, Blood, or?
Oh yeah.
I would definitely say it if just for nostalgia's sake, it's fun. Trying to figure out, this is their interpretation of this character, because it's definitely not a straight to game remake. Of course, I mean, because it had to have a story, and there's not like a lot of story in it. So they took a lot of liberties. So be prepared for that. But other than that, fun show to watch.
Oh no, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. To my surprise, even. Lots of really well done characters and acting, doing a surprisingly good job. So, it's good stuff. To my surprise, it's good stuff. And it already has us wondering what another season of it would look like. So yeah. Compared to some other things we've seen and aren't looking as promising, or at least questionable decisions that I believe will impact the series in a negative way. Like, they did a good job on Twisted Metal. Yeah, they made some changes, but it's a game where I didn't expect them to go hard on on canon anyway, and they actually did a pretty good job. Like I said, good stuff. I found myself like, all right, this is pretty solid.
Yeah.
So I was very pleased with the series and thought it was well done. We are enjoying it. Now, I was surprised, this is not really spoilers, but it's a heads up, they don't go into the supernatural side of it yet. There is a weird occurrence that implies that a later season might touch on it.
Yeah.
Because we went back, we watched a bunch of Twisted Metal's endings, and we noticed something unique there. But it's a nice post-apocalyptic, almost Mad Max-ish series that actually managed to be pretty entertaining. Justin and I was like, okay. Then they would reel me back in with me going like, oh, that was cool. That was cool. And, Dino had to sit through me going like, oh, yeah, that's Twister. That's that's that. Because I know it made all my memories of the game come back, so I started.
Yeah, because I never hardcore played the game. Like, I played with some friends who had the game. I'd go over to their house and play, but I never really played hardcore. But, yeah, Flynn in the chat room says hard to do canon in Twisted Metal. What the game plot and story is all over the place. Yeah. I mean, every one was almost a reboot-ish,
Yeah, but Sweet Tooth is obviously my favorite character. He's really great. I was surprised, but they did a really good job. But several of the other characters are really good, and you find yourself enjoying it. Like, they even finally managed to make me start to slowly less hate one particular character that was really freaking annoying every time they were on screen, but they actually started to kind of polish that up, man. So, yeah, ultimately, I thought it was really good.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm watching some of the.
No, it's what he's looking up. I'm like,
well, because I was trying to think of something, and so I was trying to let you talk while I look this up and not get
I want to draw attention to it.
But
no, so the series is pretty well done. Do note, there are some moments some of the characters had us pretty irked, but it was entertaining enough to get past that, and they seem to be kind of, like I said, polishing that up, and some of the characters actually come back around to being characters. I was like, okay, I like that character now. So that's well done. But it reminds me of like Badlands and other series we watched where it's interesting and it maintains a continuously interest stays in it. And they did a good job. I think they did a pretty good job. Now, is it like going to win awards? No. But it's also based on a video game. And it's rare to see a video game-based series that manages to hold up. It's like a conversation I was having last night with one of my gaming groups, man, and we were talking about Castlevania Nocturne, and we came up with what was wrong with it. And what was wrong with it actually was that it should have been a spinoff. Like, the problem with the story is that they wanted to tell a particular character's story, but they did it by overwriting the Belmont story. And we all said, this story was good enough to stand up on its own. It should have just been a spinoff. That way, it wouldn't have been so annoying to Castlevania fans. Because I know that, like, Bloodaxe will never like Castlevania Nocturne because it's not about the Belmonts at all. They are sidelined pretty hard and kind of shat on, too. That doesn't really sit well with the Castlevania fan. But the character that they did it with wasn't a bad character when I separated them out of that and said, by itself, this is a good character. I should be a fan of this character. I like Earthbenders. I like the story. I like escaped slaves. I played characters. I make characters like that. It's like there's a lot of potential in this character, but it didn't need to be shoved into a Belmont story. It should have been its own thing. And that's why, that's what we usually get. We usually get a bad job done on video game-based stories. And when they try to make something original off of it, when they try to change the story, they screw it up. I didn't mind any of the changes in Twisted Metal. I felt it did a good job, and I'm the person who remembered it. Like, I was like, oh, yeah, I believe the guy who drove Roadkill was actually a white guy. And it's like, yeah, but nobody cared about him.
I remembered that. But,
yeah, you did too.
I remember John Doe.
But like each character, I love Bloody Mary. Mr. Slam was taking an interesting new direction.
He was also such a non-character character John Doe
Yeah,
was,
that you
that
don't
it didn't
care.
really matter.
So a lot of it was really well done, and I felt like because here's the thing, they told a good story, and that's where you got to stop screwing up. Is that, hey man, pull it out, make it its own story, or make sure you write the hell out of it if you're going to take a lot of changes. They wrote the hell out of it, man. They did. They wrote the hell out of the stories, and that's the best I can say on it.
John Doe in the game basically looked like that default character. Is what
It looks like a Gmod default
Yeah.
T-pose character. So,
And I think that's what they were really going for with that character to begin with in that game. So them putting anybody as John Doe doesn't really bug me.
And
Yeah.
he's a well done character.
Yeah.
I think he's well done. So that's all. I don't know if you found what you were looking for, but like I said, they did a good job, and I'd like to see more of that. For example, like I was telling last night, I said, dude, I don't hate diverse characters. Isaac's my favorite character from Castlevania. So I'd love a spinoff about what happened to Isaac after, after the last time we saw him. I'd love that spinoff. But I wouldn't want you to shove that over, like, Richter's story. I would rather that be here and I could enjoy
or a
it.
prequel with Isaac would have been cool too. I mean,
How
he had
he became
enough,
a devil.
he
Yeah,
had
yeah.
enough story where you could have done a lot.
Well,
with
that's
that
what I felt
character.
about the new character. I felt
Yeah.
like she had way more potential, and in the end up, she got mixed into the mix. And instead of you liking the character, she came off as annoying because you're like, why is she acting like this? What's with the attitude? Isn't she supposed to be Richter's girlfriend? And I'm like, or you could have just told this story. I think Castlevania Nocturne should have been a side story, and you shouldn't have had a Belmont at all. I think you should just went ahead and make the character that you wanted to be the main character just be the main character. She was good enough to stand on her own, man. But that's the kind of mistakes we see made.
Oh yeah. Speaking of mistakes, PlayStation apparently just randomly banned a bunch of people on
Permaban.
Monday. Permabanned. And when people called about it, they were just like, well, you obviously did something. And you should just make another account, click, And I mean, dude, this is the first time this has happened. We've seen it on other networks. I mean, I'm sure probably Xbox has had it. I'm sure, we see it on social media happen a lot, where people get randomly banned because of some algorithm or something like that took more liberties than it needed to. But just the non-caring, and this is a trend, honestly, the non-caring ban work. I see this all the time where people, oh yeah, you got banned, huh? Sucks to be you. There's no route to really. What's the word I'm looking for? Repeal.
Contest.
Or repeal against it. I mean, there's no real contesting
Contesting it. You're
against
just
it.
banned, and they're like, screw you.
And I can't stand that, dude. Like, that annoys the crap out of me. I've seen it with creators that I've liked that have gone banned, and they call and they're like, you did something wrong. Well, what? Tell me what.
But I will say that most often, because my son constantly with his videos hits that he gets demonetized or he gets hit, and it tells him what it was. So some of them, the software will at least say it's because of A, B, or C. Not all of them,
Yeah.
but some of them. But the PlayStation, it was clearly an error. People even said that with the numbers happening, they believe it was a glitch.
Mm-hmm.
But PlayStation's attitude, like, no, it wasn't. Screw you. We got your money. Also, we're taking away your Discovery shows. Just like I said, they just kind of had this attitude of F you. And it had to get to the point to where they finally said, oops. And even in there's, if I understand, no apology. They just fixed it. And that was it. And that's what pissed people off was the attitude.
I've also seen this happen with some streamers and gamers who look younger than they are, and you're not supposed to stream unless you're like, over the age of 13 or something, and they'll get banned for being underage.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can send you my driver's license, like I'm 20 something. I just have a young face, and they'd be like, we don't care, Well,
remember, didn't on YouTube some people got banned because the algorithm was picking up a word that wasn't a slur? but it was in another language. No,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, I think
Japanese.
so.
I want to say it was Japanese or it was Asian speakers had a word that sounded a little bit like the N word, and they were getting banned. But it wasn't the N word. If you listened, you could even tell. But then we do watch a lot of anime, and so we're a little bit more familiar with the languages.
There's several languages that have the N-word sounding things in them. I mean, honestly, the color black in several languages is
yes, because that's what the word really means in most other languages. So that's happened. And they had to fight tooth and nail and go, I'm not speaking English. Like, you'll go. And, like, basically they got the same reaction of, like, yeah, go to hell. But PlayStation, the reason we highlighted PlayStation was that it was the permaban. Meaning, if they hadn't came around and finally decided to give a flip,
well, they didn't
then you
work.
just lost your whole account.
And they never worked with any individual. Apparently, I mean, they fixed all of them at once because it was an error in their system.
Because it was an error.
But the fact that if they would have had a proper system when the first person called, they would have looked in their system and gone, well, it says this, and gone, but that. And then go look at that content, and that would be like, oh, well, no, okay, there's obviously an issue.
Or noted that, like, hey, we've gotten 300 calls in the last hour.
Well, I'm sure that's eventually what happened was they got so many calls that it finally struck somebody that go, huh, maybe we shouldn't be telling these people to go screw themselves, you know?
What you got on that, Bloodaxe?
Sounds like Sony's business as usual to me.
Well, sadly, it's not just Sony, and that's the main thing I wanted to emphasize. This has become a general attitude, and a lot of it is because of they would censor people, and because they censor people, they don't want to be too upfront with why they close people's accounts. And because they've put themselves in a situation where they cannot be open and honest, these situations keep happening.
Because they're doing it when they shouldn't be. They're doing it by being biased and so forth. They want to have that ability to go, we can remove your account because you criticized PlayStation. We can remove your account because you criticized our political stance. Something like that. And in order to do that, you have to not disclose that because there's still laws that have freedom of speech.
And obviously, that is a reckless speculation, I guess, on my part. But that's the only reason I can think of.
Are any of our speculations not reckless?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that I'm not, people don't think I'm stating fact necessarily.
We are not a news channel.
But from what I've gathered from other sources, what I've heard from other people, and what I've seen myself, it seems like this is the issue. Because, I mean, dude, the same thing's happened to us on YouTube, like, well, this isn't ad-friendly. Well, it's not ad-friendly. We're not telling you. And of course, we've seen them tell on other things. Oh, well, this is because there was a copyright violation. Okay, so why are you not telling me on this one?
Because it's something they probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And I'm going to draw Xeno back into this. No, I'm going to draw Bloodaxe into this one. You've said enough. Bloodaxe. Also, here's where, though, and I know what my boy's doing. He's trying to be fair. But there's a difference between Sony, Bloodaxe probably can guess where I'm about to go here, and YouTube. YouTube is a streaming site where you're putting out this material, but your game account is your customer. You are a customer. You have purchased the content. You are paying to be on the network. I'm a customer to Sony. I'm not a collaborator or a business partner. I'm a customer. So when I call you as a customer and go, what's wrong with my account? You don't treat me like YouTube pays us when we're doing well, not the other way around.
Yeah, but we're still customers. I mean, we watch, we give them revenue.
Yeah, but we're also technically in business with them. We affect them. If I start dropping crazy rhetoric, it can reflect negatively on YouTube.
And that
But
is
we-
actually
but the
against
players-
the law. There is actually a law that YouTube is bound by. It's the reason they get certain tax cuts and certain freedoms that they are not supposed to curate. They're not supposed to, basically, they're not supposed to take a side.
Yeah, neither was Twitter. We can go on.
Yeah.
That's a whole other
Oh, I know.
conversation. I feel you, though. But I'm saying, though, is that the customer does not represent PlayStation. So the PlayStation bans are not a financial decision because you're going to make PlayStation look bad. The PlayStation sends us commercials, not the other way around, dude. Right? Right, Bloodaxe? Like that. They send us commercials. We are the consumer.
I honestly find
So I think the relationship is different.
the banning of freedom of speech is much higher than somebody's game account being banned because they triggered something. But
Oh, no. On wrongness, I get it. But my point is that it comes down to, though, Sony, the way Sony treats its customers. Sony has no reason to ban you. It doesn't. It has no effect on their bottom line.
It has reasons.
What? What reason?
I mean, if you're breaking the system, but with hacks or something like that, making gameplay unfair.
That's not the ones I'm talking about.
That's the most common reason to get a ban and for a game on a gaming network.
Yes. Well, okay. Then they have reasons. This is not a valid reason to ban someone. You already have the
Well,
ability
we don't
to mute
know. There
people,
was no reason.
But I think the misfire was because they didn't tell people you were hacking. Because they'll usually say you were banned. You said it yourself. They'll say you were banned for hacking. You were banned for jailbreaking a game. You were banned for this.
That's because also parts of the thing is they can ban you for using certain rhetoric and voice chat and different things like that as well. They have other things other than just cheating mechanisms that they use to ban you. And I do get that
I can
there is a level.
I can custom mute and block.
I agree.
Each person I play with.
I agree.
I can do that.
Yes.
So I'm going to stand on the stance of they don't have, especially a permaban. Okay, my boy John, he gets in trouble all the time because he gets to playing. He call people everything under the sun. Not too terrible, but he'll talk about your mama, your daddy, your dog. You know what I'm saying? Love it. He's a trash talker. He gets in a little bit of trouble. He don't mind though. He gets in trouble. He can't play for a little while.
Yeah.
Permabans.
Usually those aren't permabans.
But permabans, you don't permaban me unless you're going to refund every dollar I spent. I'm sorry, but I feel like permabans are you knocking me in my head and taking everything and running off with it. That's the way I feel about permabans. I really do. I feel that if I paid for it, it's mine. Now, I understand how streaming works, but you get my point. So, and it's just different opinions. I'm devil's advocating that the relationship that you have with PlayStation as a customer is different from as a business partner through a streaming service where you actually represent them. We don't represent PlayStation. They can't control who buys their games. So why they have these bans that aren't based on a business decision of you hacked the game, you broke the game, you broke the copyright. But instead, we don't like your opinion. Well, I don't care that you don't like my opinion. Silence me then. You know what? Perma-mute. Turn off their ability to do voice.
And that's basically what permaban is. If you read here, it's the user said the account is permanently suspended from PlayStation due to violations. So they couldn't get on the PlayStation Network. They did say they were able to jump into Baldur's Gate 3 Fortnite, and like I normally would, and I was able to log into the iOS PlayStation now without seeing a ban. Or maybe this person was actually no. Okay, so it's the PlayStation Network. I think that stops you mostly from doing anything multiplayer or anything that goes through their network. So they should still be able to play single player and have access to their games that aren't multiplayer or aren't required to go through the PlayStation Network to play.
But there are games that do. There are games you can't do multiplayer in it. And my thing is that that's part of what I paid for the game.
No, I agree with you. I'm not.
Oh, no. We're not actually arguing. We're just
clarifying.
both representing different sides. Now, Bloodaxe, what do you think? You can be the tiebreaker. How do you feel about the relationship for YouTube banning somebody versus PlayStation banning you off their network?
Well, I think the reason for banning should be disclosed to the user. So my
that on
son,
everything, yeah.
yeah, but my son gets communication banned all the time. It's not uncommon for me to log in and I get another message that I've been banned, and because he's on a child on my account, he'll get 3 days of no communications. But permaban is serious. You need to have threatened somebody or done something extremely bad for that to actually permanently ban you. That's a serious offense. And mass banning a bunch of folks and not telling them the reasons why, that's a lot of arrogance on your part as a company. Because I want to be able to appeal that ban if I feel like I've done nothing wrong. And in this instance, they're like, well, go to hell. And then they eventually figure out. And even if they made a mistake, at least you say you're sorry and not just reinstate and say, oh, our bad, so that I think it's just bad business practices, which Sony's been known to do ever since, was it PS4? They said pay more or go screw off. But they are the top of the market right now, so they have the ability to do it. But eventually it's going to come back and bite him in the ass.
Yeah, and that's a good way, because he basically came at that at a good angle. I like that. It's like none of us are wrong on our opinions, really. It's really how you perceive it. And that's a good way. You have your view, I have my view, you have you. But
opinions by definition.
Opinions, yes. So we all have our own different opinion, but that's the kicker, is that, but I think all of us can agree that if it's a permaban, because think about what you lose with your account. You still lose all your achievements, all your contact lists, all of that if you have to make a new profile. So you lose a lot. I believe that at the bare minimum as a customer, tell me why and let me appeal it.
Well, no, that's just common sense. I mean, dude, if you got in trouble at school, you got told why you were in trouble at school. If you go to jail or, you are told why you're going to jail. Unless it's something really crooked, and we all agree that that's corrupt.
That's corrupt, yeah.
So why don't we agree that it's corrupt?
For them to permaban a customer of things they paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Paid for. And that's why I said, I feel like you hit me in my head and took something from me whenever you take something I paid for, and there's no discussion. You don't look me in the eye and go, here's what's going on, and I don't get to go, well, can I correct this then? Can we turn this temporary? And I won't make that mistake again. Now, if I look at you and you go, look, you can't do that again, and I go, suck my bleep, 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 then okay, yeah, I probably have decided to be permanent. That's on me. But a lot of these people are like, what did I do? And they were just like, you did something, sucker. Make a new account if you're mad about it. Click, and I'm like, wow. And let's just say that for a gaming company, this is unique. Now, like you said, in streaming, very common in streaming. But this is the first time I've heard of such a... Now, I'm not saying there haven't been other permabans, but it was just the reaction that got people. They were just like, man, they did not give a flip. And I'm like, dude, Sony put double the Mary Jane stuff into the game when the player said, we don't like this. Sony is taking a strong stance of F you to when it comes to customers.
Yeah. Well, speaking about companies with a lot of FU in them, Blizzard has now...
It was an accident this time.
It's now fixed an accidental nerf it gave every Diablo 4 player on the same day it's brutally hard new dungeons. So they released new content, was supposed to be really hard, and at the same time they accidentally nerfed the experience.
Well, they de-leveled all of your glyphs by a chunk, which anybody that's gotten an in-game knows that glyphs are the only thing that kind of keeps scaling at a certain point. So it's how you go into epic level is you progress your glyphs to keep getting more damage. That's where you're going to get damage after you hit level 100. It's mastering your glyphs. So in-game players getting ready to take on the hardest dungeon in the game, designed for in-game players, had their glyphs like massively de-leveled to the point that some of them, the radius dropped down, which is... I know some of
because a lot of people,
but it's a big deal.
A lot of people, so when you do your leveling your glyphs, the radius increases once you hit level 15.
which is a
And
big deal.
so you have several glyphs. Everybody, usually if you're max level character, you have 4 to 6 glyphs. And they take a while to level. So once you hit that radius bump at 15, you usually stop leveling that glyph and you go to level the next glyph and you get it at the 15.
And then after you got them all to 15 you need, that's when you start mastering.
That's when you max them out to 24. Well, the people who max them out to 24 really didn't notice much of a difference. But because so many people, because it takes so long to level them, were around 15, it dropped them below, which caused the radius which caused massive debuffs. Because once that radius drops, a lot of your required secondary goals to unlock a bigger buff are no longer
Let's just say that
met.
If this happened to you, you don't know what happened, but you stopped dealing damage and you stopped surviving.
Now,
you're like,
think if you're playing in hardcore.
oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, where it's got permadeath?
Yeah.
That'll be the second time Blizzard has killed hardcore gamers by accidentally nerfing the crap out of them and not telling them.
Yes.
Because there was one in season 1, well, not season 1, before season 1, where they did something and it caused a mass amount of deaths in players who were playing hardcore. For those who don't know, hardcore in Diablo is you die once, they erase your character.
Dude, I'll be honest. If I played hardcore in Diablo 4, I would not log in after a patch. I wouldn't. It's happened too many times now, dude. Too many times they've done these accidental nerfs, massive nerfs.
What if you're a leaderboard player and now you lost your character from the leaderboards? You're just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. God forbid you're a streamer who streams hardcore games and you lost your character. Now you don't have a character to stream to people.
It's like, do you QA, bro?
I keep forgetting about hardcore. You're brilliant. Yeah, think about that, Bloodaxe. Yo, we jump onto Borderlands, saying you grab your best build. It's permadeath. You go out, you get one shot, find out they broke all your weapons. They don't work anymore. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. That was called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Minus the permadeath. Because I remember when Bloodaxe jumped in to play with me and he's running around and he's just like, I can't kill anything. And I'm like, what? Then we check and it's like, oh, liquid cooling, 66% nerf. And we're like, heck, that almost happened to me on Remnant 2 with my status effect build. They halved my status effect damage, Bloodaxe. Halved it. I'm up here going like, I shot a dude with status effect, and normally I could turn and walk away. He stabbed me in the back of my head because he didn't die because I was doing half. I literally went, blam, all right, that guy should be dead. Guy hit me in the back of the head. I was like, what the heck happened? That's when I realized all my numbers were half what they were.
Yeah. All right, we can't go the week without mentioning this. I really don't care too much.
At least we're not talking about Doctor Who.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you off.
I know.
We're not. Just to give a disclosure, we're not unaware of Doctor Who. We just don't want to talk about it.
Here's my whole thing with the GTA 6 trailer. So basically, they showed off a female protagonist. A lot of people got pissed off. They didn't want a female protagonist. So of course, it's the go woke, go broke thing. Blah blah blah. I'm still look. For one, there wasn't a lot of information with the trailer. There's most likely. I mean, I don't know. I haven't dived into this, but there'll probably be multiple protagonists. But I really just want choice, And this is the same thing. I bark on this, I know, constantly. But
that's a good point.
But the damn thing is, it's just. I mean, there is no way you can make a story that is so fucking vital in GTA that you can't allow me to just create my player.
Or at least do like they did for Mass Effect. Record a male voice line version of the game and masculine voice line of the game and a feminine voice line of the game, and then let them make a character.
Yeah.
Or like you said, offer a choice of protagonists like you could in GTA 5.
Yeah. If you want to do it, you do the brother-sister thing.
Now, do I care? No. My biggest question, which I had him laughing as I said, so what does this mean when you pick up a prostitute? I don't know how the mechanics of that work now.
Yeah.
It's a common part of the GTA games. And I'm like, do you pick up male prostitutes? Do they change the animations to make more sense for a female? I was just going like, what does that mean for that mechanic? Because it was how you got your health back. is one of the ways to get your health back other than going back and sleeping at the house is you go pick you up some professional assistance, you know? So I'm like, okay, what does that mean? You know, but other than that, I see it as a bad business move because when I think of a fan base that is not very progressive, GTA. I mean, you run around acting a damn fool, killing people, sleeping with prostitutes, going to strip clubs. It's a naturally toxic game. That's written on the tin. So I'm like, why are you trying to do that? And here's what's worse. We've seen them try to do that already. Saints Row. It failed horribly. Why would you try to follow in those footsteps? Now, mind you, theirs doesn't look as bad. You know what I mean? Doesn't look as bad. At least the character looks like they're doing GTA things. They're not trying to pay off their student loans or some nonsense. It looks like it's going to be a GTA game. And it'll probably do okay, but they're never going to lose some fans because people aren't going to be able to get behind the character.
Well, and like I said, dude, there's still a lot that's unsaid from this. From what I understand, there hadn't been any real confirmation on a lot of things other than she is, a character, a playable character. Whether or not she's the only playable character, we don't know. Maybe we do get choice. I don't know. They don't say. And that's why I don't want to get too involved in this either on the
I think they hope they do duo protagonists. Yeah. I would like to see them do, because her boyfriend shows in the trailers a lot too. So my hope is you can pick between the two. Because I firmly believe in giving people options. Yeah, let people have the option to do what they want to do. That's a good thing. And removing choice is usually a bad idea. But if you're forced to choose and you can only do one, why don't you aim at your audience? That's all I'm saying. Probably should aim at your audience.
Speaking of options, we had the Game Awards that happened.
Baldur's Gate 3, we called it.
Yeah, a lot of Baldur's Gate 3. I'll be honest, I'm not ever been a big fan of the Game Awards. For one, the Game Awards are chosen by the journalists. I think they pick like 100. They have like 100 journalists. Venues in which they reach out to get the nominees, and then once they get the nominees, the final vote, only 10% of the final vote comes from fans. The other 90% comes from their board. So
literally the Game Award is a pure games journalist assigned, and worse, it's a small test group of only 100. With how many games journalists are out there, that feels really small on representation. And it's also a nice small number that's easy to be bought off, because the smaller the number, the easier it is to pay people off. So it does hit the veracity of the Game Awards a lot. When I found out it was 90 to 10 on a percentage of the voice of actual gamers, and their reasoning was lame to me too. Their reasoning for why they do that is, well, they don't want the most popular game to win, and they don't want a game... They don't want it to not be possible for an exclusive game to win. And I'm like, well, why not? The game of the year probably shouldn't be an exclusive game anyway. Like, it's the game of the year. It's not the PlayStation game of the year or the Xbox game of the year or the PC game of the year. It's the game of the year. To me, it should be lined up to where you are likely to have the game of the year be a game that more people can play. But then again, since they said they don't want the most popular game to win, I still haven't been able to wrap my head around that. They're using
that's
a
an
weird
interpretation. I never read where they said they didn't want the most popular game to win. It alluded that there was they didn't want exactly a. Well, I mean, obviously they're not taking the fans into account that much, so that would tell you that But anyway, the point being, it's a rigged system, which most awards are. I'm not surprised.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, yeah. But the game announces is the part that you come for anyway. I mean, we know that. They were playing them off stage so fast when the winners got up there that it was very clear that it was just really one big game trailer. Yeah. I think they said the game trailers accounted for like 60, 70% of the entire show. Yeah. So it's really about game announcements.
The rest was celebrities and then a little bit from the developers.
Very corny. Sadly, our boy was really bad. The guy that plays Don Doe, he was on there, and
Don Doe.
Yeah, from Twisted Metal.
Oh, John Doe.
The guy that plays John Doe, the black actor. I don't
Okay.
remember his name. Falcon.
I thought you said Don Doe, and I get Don
You
Doe.
definitely get your
No,
beanie
I'm pretty
out
sure
your
you said
ears.
Don Doe.
Get your beanie out your
No,
ears.
no. I'm gonna play it back to you later on after the show, where you said Don Doe.
Either way, they weren't doing great. They weren't that funny. The music performances looked pretty good. But no. But hey, we're here for the game announcements because we don't care. We knew it was going to be Baldur's Gate 3. The system's rigged. Let's see what's coming out.
All right, so Capcom announced a new Monster Hunter game coming in 2025. So for fans of Monster Hunter, that's something to look forward to. I enjoy the Monster Hunter-like games. They're not on my buy list, though. Like, they're on my, I'll pick up if they're on sale, or if they go on Game Pass, I'll play around. But I don't have enough interest in the Monster Hunter games to go straight out and buy one. But it has a huge fan base, and there are a lot of people who will buy every Monster Hunter, anything that comes out. So
I'll go check out my Charge Blade and my Switch Axe on it when it hits Game Pass. If it gets down to $30, maybe 40 if it's getting really good reviews. But I'm not paying $70 for a Monster Hunter game, no. But if it drops down to a decent range, it's a good way to waste some time. I can sometimes drag Bloodaxe on. I can sometimes drag Xeno on. If it hits Game Pass, I know I can at least get these guys to run with me for about a week. It's about the most I can get out of most of them. But, if I can get a week of it, I'll master a weapon and run until I run at that really cheap enemy like I did with, Vetriax, and I just said, this stopped being fun. But they're good time wasters, but I can't imagine playing full price for a Monster Hunter game ever. Sorry. But I will play one if I get access to it. Absolutely. I'll put some time in. I put a lot of time in.
I don't think Bloodaxe enjoyed the Monster Hunter series when we tried to play with him.
That's that he gave a few tries.
I gave a lot of tries. It just wasn't my thing, but yeah, if it's on Game Pass, I'll download it. I'll play it. Am I gonna put a lot of solo time into it? No, I'll play with you guys, but there's not something I'm gonna invest a lot of my own personal time into. No.
Next up was some OD thing, which did not have really any meat to it.
It's a Kojima project, man.
Yeah,
it's weird. There you go. It looks like a Kojima project. It's weird.
Now, I will say God of War Ragnarok is one that I'm still waiting to see it hit PC, because I am a God of War fan. I just can't buy a PlayStation anymore. But they do have DLC, so that's cool. The first one, they sort of ripped us on the DLC. Like, the first one didn't have any DLC, even though it had obvious parts that looked like DLC went in,
It was a strange choice, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it did so well. But it didn't DLC up. So at least they're doing some now.
Yeah. New Marvel Blade game, which what did you say this was?
I had a description of this trailer. First of all, I love this trailer, but for none of the right reasons. Because this trailer is way more about reminding you that Blade is black than that he hunts vampires. It's got a lot of that Harlem style to it. And they don't even show a vampire. They show a barbershop.
Yeah.
They play some good black music. He's talking with slang. He's got a very urban slang. But it looks awesome. But it's like I said.
Afro.
Salon Afro. But it's like there was no real vampire element at all, except for you hearing an alarm. But it's a great trailer. It's very stylish. The music sounds good. But I did make that comment that I said, this is more about him being black than it is about him being a vampire hunter in this trailer.
Even here, they have these dudes, but it's not in English. So not really sure what language is supposed to be.
But, it looks awesome. I like the design for Blade with the beard. Look, you know what I'm saying? He looks cool. So I am looking forward to the game. I'm with Flynn in the chat that I'm really hoping that it's good. They don't do my boy Blade wrong. But I just was amused that they decided to go with a very distinct style, like I said, to the trailer that immediately like I said, screamed that Harlem style, which I like, but I'm black. So of course I like it. Like, I like it. I can see other people, though, being like, that trailer had nothing in it for me. So that's why I was like, huh. But does it look good? Yes. Now, is Arcane Studios been doing well?
It's in Paris, so I guess that was
French.
Yeah.
Do we have a strong representation in Paris? Well, anyway. Maybe we do. But anyway, Arcane Studios, aren't they hit or miss?
Yeah.
That's my fear, aren't they hit or miss? Wait a minute. They're not the ones that did Redfall.
I think they are.
Oh, I think you're right.
Because they're the ones that did Dishonored, and
they are the ones that did Redfall then. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Flynn. They did Redfall. That's a bad sign, man. They haven't even fixed Redfall yet.
Yeah, because they're on
and that was a vampire game.
Yeah.
They have failed vampire games before.
They definitely have.
Dang, I was getting kind of excited because I like Blade. He's a character I'm very fond of.
Maybe they'll learn from their mistakes of Redfall, and this will be a good vampire game.
Why the fuck is this set in Paris?
I don't know.
That's already a bad sign. Why is... Look at my boy immediately went down. All I'm saying, dude, Redfall was terrible, man. Yeah, they have some good games. Not recently. Also, like, put it like this: when they tried vampires, they screwed up.
Like I said, I really like Dishonored. Dishonored was a
way
good
back
franchise.
though. That's the problem. Like you say, I remember Dishonored back in the day. Oh well.
All right. Let's see. Sega announced 5 new games in development. Now, with that, I am going to go over here because Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Jet Set. I mean, come on.
And guess what? Tell them your boy called it all on the trailer. I was calling out. I said, that's Streets of Rage. Now, and when we looked it up, I was right. Go back up. Let me see. Yeah, Streets of Rage. That's just them showing a picture, because there's been several. The main thing that got me is that Streets of Rage should be a multiplayer game, a multiplayer beat 'em up. And it was a top-down 3D kind of ish beat 'em up. See if we can get to that one. You got to go way ahead, dude. That is all that does. But it looked pretty promising and got me excited because it's something I can play with.
Go back to the Asian eating noodles.
Just leave it alone, man. They decided they make their Mexicans eat tacos, they make their Asians eat noodles. They got a weird way they like to do this. I don't get it. It's like, really, that's kind of stereotypical. But no, dude. Like, yeah, Streets of Rage looks good there. I'm expecting it to be multiplayer. They'd have to be stupid if not. That's something I can play a beat 'em up. Me and Bloodaxe haven't played a beat 'em up in so long, man. Jeez, man. It was the last time we actually played a beat 'em up. Now, I don't know if I've got the guts to try to take on Shinobi again. Those games were hard. I've beaten them all, but I don't know if I want to go back in, man, because that difficulty factor. But there's a part of me that kind of wants to. Yeah, Drive-By. I remember that. And then we saw Golden Axe here. And I immediately said, that's Golden Axe. And he was like, what? I'm like, I remember the mount.
Wait. That does look like maybe multiplayer.
Hold on, I thought I saw 2 people in one of those shots.
Let's see. Right here, you'll see the guy come up behind him.
Yeah, that's the sword guy. Yeah. Maybe we can get multiplayer.
Maybe it will be properly multiplayer. I told you, it's hard not to do Golden Axe without doing multiplayer.
But they've done dumber things.
I know.
What did I say? They have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where they're single player.
But the way he moved forward was very controller-esque.
Yes. Yeah, and I think I saw the dwarf right behind him, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm hoping that we get some multiplayer beat-em-ups. That'd be fun. Crazy Taxi was always an entertaining game. I don't know if it'll catch the new genre, but it was a fun game. It was a taxi, but Golden Axe and Streets of Rage, if they don't try to charge $70, let's be honest. Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, I don't know, unless they're just really, really good, I'll be on a $50 game,
Yeah.
Play with your friends.
Well, and they may do one of these arcade style things. A lot of them have done similar things where it is like a multi-pack of retro games sort of redone.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye out for it. Maybe some of it will hit Game Pass, and me and Blood or me and Zeno could jump on and beat some guys up or go axe slaughter. So we'll see what happens. But that actually was a pretty good showcase. We were pretty excited about some of those games on there.
Yeah. The finals, not really. Now this one. So No Man's Sky developer. Now this we actually mentioned a while back. The developer had mentioned he was doing a fantasy style game, and it was going to be huge and all this. And we're just like, dude, you probably shouldn't hype up this game too much because we know,
Yeah, but I will say I played Valheim with Zeno and Jarek, and I found it to be okay. I mean, it's a very basic as far as graphics and controls, very basic game. This looks like what I would like Valheim to have been, a way more detailed, current gen, AAA survival game. Bloodaxe, you probably, I don't know, you didn't get a chance to look at this, but you'd like it too because you build a base. You remember kind of like what you did. It's a fantasy game, but you explore, you could build your own town, your own base. They didn't show a lot of combat, to our disappointment, but it's fantasy. I love fantasy. It's open world. I love open world.
But using
it's
ambitious,
survival.
I'm coming up with a new ambitious game after the announcement of No Man's Sky. That's like just go ahead and sticking your head in a noose and waiting for the chair to be kicked out from beneath you.
Have they not shown that they'll keep working on it till they get there?
Well, that's true. But I don't want to have to wait till they get there,
But you can play a rabbit person.
You don't know if you can play a rabbit.
No,
person.
don't go back. Go back to the other screen. Look at those ears.
Okay, maybe.
Unless somebody skinned one of the rabbit people and put on a hat, which would be, if you could do that, that's also awesome.
Yeah.
Because there are all these rabbit people, they'd be like, yeah, but I want to make a hat. Just a freaking bloody rabbit scalp as a hat.
You see
the mounts look cool, yeah.
Mute this. But yeah, you see mounts, you see buildings.
And you see them constructing it right there. They're building it, and our boy Bloodaxe can build a base. Like if we could get this to where we could get it towards me, you, Jarek, and Bloodaxe, maybe get Will and Flynn in there. This would be awesome, and we'll come back and Bloodaxe will have built a canopy over the entire desert.
A landing spot for our drakes and
right. Yeah, I know he'll have bridges across that water. You remember that, Bloodaxe? He'll do it all. We'll come back and be like, "Did you go to sleep last night?" And he'll be like, "What do you think?" And you're like, all right.
I mean, my biggest complaint of what I've seen is I have not seen any real creatures.
I think they haven't done the combat yet. I think they haven't even done it because I haven't even seen them weapons. Like they're like you don't see a lot of. Okay, there are some weapons on them there.
Yeah,
but there is no combat shown. But it's a beautiful game. The flying mounts look amazing. There's ground mounts. I'm hyped because I know Jarek and Zeno in particular love these games. So
it has potential, dude. Don't get me wrong. It's just because it's coming, from Sean Murray.
It's a massive game. It's going to be amazing, man. It's going to do all this stuff.
But no, because it's coming from Hello Games, it's really hard to put too much faith in this.
And Uninhabited is the way they start their games. Remember No Man's Sky? You were the only sentient creature just about in the universe for a while?
Yeah.
That's the way they do it, man. I think I'm optimistic.
I mean, I want to be optimistic, but I also know that being optimistic with Hello Games is a dangerous path to tread.
So, Bloodaxe, I'd like to put in a request for a murder castle when you get the building. Remember, I love defenses. I'll help you. We'll build punji pits, spikes, see if we can train a monster and have it run around outside. And yeah, you know me. I build militant bases. I like my bases to be very dangerous to outsiders.
All right. Next up, new Final Fantasy 16 DLC was announced. Rise of the Ronin, which looks really good, but it's also a PlayStation 5 exclusive.
Hey, I'm fair, though. It looked good. It looks like the kind of game that I would be watching if it wasn't an exclusive. If it wasn't exclusive, I would be keeping an eye on this game. It's an action RPG, good-looking combat, open world. It kind of looked like Japanese Assassin's Creed, is what I described it as, from the way that you were moving around, which sounds awesome. Unfortunately, it's exclusive. But hey, if you have a PlayStation, you should keep an eye on that game if you like open world RPGs. I'm not going to tell anybody not to play something that looks good. It looks good. And if you already got the PlayStation, awesome. Don't buy one for it. But if you got it, play it. But there were some scenes where it had a very, very like he's going across rooftops. You know, it was earlier on, but he goes across rooftops. You see him pull himself along. It gave off a very Assassin's Creed vibe, which is a good thing. Assassin's Creed games were awesome. So, you know, that's not a bad thing. Yeah, there he is on the rooftops. He seems to spend a lot of time on rooftops, or at least they do in a demo, which further, you know, reinforces that. So it definitely gives off that vibe. And it looks like it's going to be a fun game. Now, will it appeal? Will it be enough to do well as an exclusive? I don't know. You're at a massive disadvantage whenever you're doing exclusive because you have a half to a third of the player base.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, as of right now, they haven't even announced it's going to be on PC. They've literally just said PlayStation.
So, you know. But it looks good. Like, you know, it looks good. And if you like Neo and some of the others, I bet you probably like this. Doesn't seem to have as much fantasy elements, but it's still, that's why I said Assassin's Creed-ish, but it looks good.
All right.
So there we go. We've been fair.
Skull and Bones, Lost Records, didn't really look that interesting to me.
No, I will make a comment. It is
Okay.
done by the Life is Strange people. And Life is Strange developers have made some very good content. And also, if you are a member of the LGBTQ community, it looks like that's going to be where it's going. Yeah. And they make good games, like they do. Like, they do representation right. I follow the lore of the Life is Strange games, and I've always thought they were well-written, well-executed, and they're original IP. Everything we say, please do, they tend to do. In fact, the only thing they're doing wrong is they're making these other people look lazy. Because they're doing the things that the other people say they can't do. They're doing the things that Spider-Man was scared to do, which is actually tell their own story and do it right and write it well. So that's their one flaw is literally they're doing it right to the point that they show it can be done. So I support the series. I say check it out, especially if you like those games, because they do a good job.
The next Dragon Ball
it's basically
fighting
Budokai
game.
Tenkaichi series. For those of us who don't like the fighters, Dragon Ball fighters, I prefer a Tenkaichi game. It looks like it's going to be another one of those. If you play Budokai Tenkaichi, you know the games. But for Dragon Ball Z fans, they're tired of that 2D fighter. This is full 3D. Looks like you'll have transformations, change the map. That's my preferred Dragon Ball game. I'm going to be looking out for it. But, again, I don't know if I'd buy it fresh off the presses. Games are just getting too dang expensive. Now, if they put it out for $50 or even $60, very likely I'll buy it. But I'm sorry, that $70 price tag is just reserved for games that I have 100% confidence in. But I'd pay $50 or $60 for it because they're fun if you're a big ZBZ fan, and I'm a big DBZ fan. And they had my boy Brawley in it. Yeah, they had Brawley in it doing his thing. And if I can play as Brawley, you probably can sell me the game.
Ori developer Moon Studios reveals No Rest for the Wicked. Now, this didn't really spark my interest very much, but
well, minimal gameplay.
Yeah, minimal they didn't start doing gameplay till here at the very end.
It's a Diablo game. I don't think it's going to beat out Path of Exile. I think that this is a bad idea to put your games out around Path of Exile 2. I think Path of Exile 2 is going to dominate Diablo
how
market.
Little gameplay it put in there, so.
Well, also, even what I'm seeing doesn't beat what I've seen in Path of Exile 2, man.
I like the art style, though.
Oh, no. The animations look good. But this is a bad time to compete. They better hold their game release till after Path of Exile 2. And unfortunately, they're doing quarter. Well, they will beat out Path of Exile 2. They're planning to do a quarter one.
Early access.
Well, that's a good idea. Okay, now change my tune. I like early access. Now, I'm assuming this is free early access. Like, you can play the game, see if you like it.
Nah, it comes on PC via early access, which most likely means you have to buy it. Because most of the early access on PC, you end up buying.
I have mad respect for games that are willing to let you stick your toe in the water before they sell it to you. That, to me, is a great way. If you want me to pre-order your game, let me get a hands on.
Yeah, beta is what's usually free.
Yeah, you're right. Alphas and betas. Sometimes alphas are free.
Yeah. But, I mean, if it says PC via early access, that usually means, they're just releasing it early access. An incomplete game, They want you to go ahead and pay for it so they can see how much interest and how much work they want to put into the
Kiss
game.
my black butt. Now, Exodus, I thought would get you a lot more excited than it did. It's the Mass Effect game sequel that we've been waiting for.
It looked all right, dude. It didn't. I mean, I didn't think
It's not officially Mass Effect, but it's made by the people that made Mass Effect.
It's made by a bunch of ex-BioWare employees. Now, how many of them worked on Mass Effect? I don't know.
The game looks like Mass Effect.
But it has a Mass Effect vibe to it. The characters look cartoony though. They don't look like they're going for realism.
Did you not see the texture on that forehead?
No. I will say the alien. They put a lot of work into the alien, but they didn't put a lot of work into the human.
Probably because you can make your own. But yeah, they textured up the alien, man.
But yeah, I mean, look, those, I don't know. I'm assuming you stay in the spacesuit.
You even seem to have biotic powers later on. There was a scene where you see somebody using abilities that reminded me of biotics. So I believe this is...
No, they did take him out of the spacesuit. Yeah, you see that. Now, it sounded like an interesting story.
They look a lot better when they took off their helmets, too. There you go.
Yeah. Cool. Because basically, it has space travel and, of course,
exploration.
They do the black hole or the portal where time goes by really, like 2 years and going through the space travel, but outside of your space travel, many years have passed.
Even the poncho-like outfits when they're out of the suit is very Mass Effect. So no, man, it gives off a Mass Effect vibe, and already I think it looks better than like Andromeda. Don't worry, Andromeda's not a bad game, but like this looks. I'm interested in this.
I'm interested in it, but it looks indie, dude. It doesn't look like it's gonna be.
I get a heavy armor suit because look, there's a guy in that.
So I don't know if it's gonna be a massive game or not. I don't know yet. I haven't gotten enough. They didn't really show any gameplay, and you're one to always talk about. Well, no gameplay.
No, you're all right. They didn't show enough gameplay, but what little I saw, I was saying that this could be good. I believe it's one to watch. Let's put it on the watch.
I will definitely put it on the one to watch.
There you go.
Bloodaxe, did you get a chance to check that one out, or?
Yeah,
No, I like the guy in the heavy outfit though.
Yeah, the heavy. See, I knew my boy.
I know you like a heavy armor outfit, just because. We'll get to another heavy armor.
I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, but it looks like another one of those games that it's a solo player only. And one thing we've been struggling with is trying to find a good multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Which we do have a couple of those coming up here in a second. Yeah. But this is one of those that if it comes out on Game Pass, I'll check it out. But I don't have the free time to really pay for a $70 game that I'm not going to be able to fully enjoy.
Yeah.
True.
Now, next up we do have is a new Square Enix Mana game, Visions of Mana. If you're familiar with the Square Enix
Secret of Mana series.
Secret of Mana series, this is another in that line. And I mean, it's a JRPG. It'll be interesting to see.
It is an
how
action
it goes.
JRPG.
Yeah,
it is like Secret of. It is not turn based, which I mentioned and I like. Really kitty on the graphics. Won't lie, like really colorful and flowery.
That's Mana graphics, dude.
I know.
Mana pretty much.
I know. And the last time I played a Mana game, I was a teenager. I played Secret of Mana as a way back. There's another one in between there, but still.
But this style game is always going along with this type of graphic.
So I may have outgrown it. Even though I love my action RPGs, I was looking at it and going like, I don't think I'd kick the money in. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to pay $70 for it. I'm definitely not going to do that. But it's one I wouldn't mind picking up. I like the Mana series. I like JRPGs.
Well, no, if it's on sale, I'll play it.
But yeah, I don't think I'd pay $70
on sale, and I don't have something else to play.
Yeah.
If there's a gap, this is a game I'd look into because I love action RPGs. I love live action RPGs versus turn based.
All right. Next up, we have. We'll skip that. Skip those. They did do another Black Myth Wukong release date for August 2024. That didn't really have anything. And nothing there. Outlast Trials. Yep, nothing. Here we go. Space Marine 2.
That's the one me and
this is what I was talking about with the armor. You know, he likes the heavy armor. So,
well, we both enjoy the Space Marines or that universe in general. 40K. We've played Inquisitor. We've played Darktide. And it'll be nice to get out from behind the squishy little punks and get behind a Space Marine again. You know what I mean, Bloodaxe?
No joke, right?
You know, play the bad boys. And it's going to be multiplayer. Bloodaxe looked it up. So I'm excited, and he's excited because multiplayer means me and him can play together. Always a good thing.
Well, yeah, we had talked about this one actually once before. There was an earlier trailer. So next up is Mecha Break. So this is another one probably heavily pushed towards blood.
Oh, no, man. This looks like Zone of Enders. This is on me, too, now. Like, I love Zone of Enders, and this looks like heck, I bet my boy Flynn's going to pop off in the chat about that. He also played Zone of Enders back in the day.
I'll be honest, dude. The game had sold me on it. I was looking. I thought it was an interesting, fast-paced mecha game until I saw it was that, you know, versus and all that stuff, and I'm just not into that style, man.
They say they have co-op missions. They have a co-op mode, but I will say that it seems like they're leaning toward it being an arena battler. So it'll be very interesting to see how much co-op it has versus how much PvP. I prefer to play co-op my friends versus PvP, dude. I mean,
yeah.
Because the problem with PvP games is that you got to do the meta. It's just the truth. You got to do the meta because everyone else is going to do the meta. And that's not always the most fun way to play, you know. And there's no versus game can escape the meta. And I've gotten older and crotchety to where I like to do my own thing. That's why I'm mad at Remnant 2 right now. They nerfed my Dot. Is Dot the best build? No. I know what's the highest damage builds. I know one-shot builds. But I wanted to do status effect damage over time. I kind of want to play my way. And you get that more in co-op or single player than you do in versus games. You know, like I've seen Armored Core 6. I've seen a lot of versus, and there is a lot of meta for the versus.
Yeah.
It's just a reality. But this has a great Zone Enders look. This is clearly a co-op mode. They're fighting a boss. I'm looking forward to playing co-op with Bloodaxe. And hopefully, you know, there will be enough content under co-op for me and you to stay invested. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the one thing about Armored Core is I would have already bought it if it was multiplayer. But it's single player, I'm waiting for it to go on sale. This, because it's multiplayer, I may pre-order it for day one, but I'm going to need more information on is there a campaign that is multiplayer all the way through, or is it like 20% co-op and the rest of it is online PvP?
Well, that's where you may want to apply for the closed alpha test. If you apply for that, if you get picked for that, you'll get to know a little more. Plus, usually if they have a closed alpha test, they usually have an open beta at some point. So,
and that's why we're excited because we're going to get at least in one of those, we should get some hands on. And you should be able to see what the content is. Dude, Gears of War 5. I don't really like the campaign. I like High Busters. I don't like the main campaign. I don't like the PvP. We've clocked so many hours on just the co-op, just playing Horde and Escape. So a game can live off of that mode if it's done well enough. It really can. So I'm hoping that we get that kind of experience out of it.
Yeah, we need a good mecha game. We haven't had one in a while.
A good co-op mecha game. Armored Core 6 is a great mecha game if you want to play by your dang self. Though it's not as fast-paced as freaking. That looks, like I said, everybody in the chat, Mike, Jarek, and Flynn were saying, dude, that looks like Zone of Enders. I'm like, I know. And it's co-op. You can't get better than co-op Zone of Enders. That's like everything I wanted from a mecha game. So I'm excited because it looks like it's co-op. Yeah, we're going to try to get in things. And Flynn said the same thing. Try to get into alpha. But there should be an open beta, like he said. They almost always go from closed alpha to open beta. Looking forward to it. If we can get an alpha, that's great.
Yeah, definitely worth trying. But that's pretty much all that we saw. That there were some other things that popped up, but nothing that I really cared about.
Well, we've been in closed alphas before. We did a whole bunch of grounded alphas. Remember, Bloodaxe?
Oh, yeah.
Like we were in that, man. Every time they did one, we signed up and got in. and would go in and try out the content and say, hey, yeah, this is good, this is this.
Yeah, I was massively involved in the closed alpha of the Elder Scrolls Online, to the point that when the game came out, I had played so much Elder Scrolls Online that I really was like burnt out already because I'd done like
You burn out fast, though,
I'd
too,
done
man.
like every closed alpha. That and a lot of the mechanics that were really cool in the closed alpha they took out of in the
They
by
tend
the
to make
end.
some fixes.
Yeah.
I've been there.
So, anyway, yeah, that's going to wrap us up, guys. Be sure to check out Dicejunkies.com where you can find links everywhere we are online, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. And be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on our YouTube channel so you can see whenever we go live or post anything else.